So you want to talk about depression?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I want to talk about depression and mental health and what that looks like, what that actually looks like from a person who has experienced and is experiencing depression and what that means, what it looks like, and how that continues to be a part of life.
Right. Because even like hearing, like the experiencing, it like makes makes me sad. But at the same time, I get why you're saying it. Like,
Yeah.
what we talked about.
Hmm.
You want to say
Yeah,
it?
man. Depression doesn't just disappear.
Right. It doesn't
It
disappear.
doesn't
So
disappear.
like it's constant. You learn how to cope, and I don't know. I guess like I almost want to challenge it though because
Let's hear it.
I feel like a lot of times I'm sure that's true. Probably even majority of the time, but to say that like as if it's just, a hard fact doesn't disappear,
Yeah.
I think it can.
I don't. No. I don't feel like depression ever truly disappears. It evolves. It adapts. And one thing that is absolutely true: the more light you have in your life, you're going to see that shadow behind you. It will always be there. Because if you've been in complete darkness and it becomes a part of your mindset, in your mind, and as Bessel said, man, the body keeps the score.
Mm-hmm.
And depression and trauma, all of these things reside in your body in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been in situations and in scenarios where you were in perhaps a very heightened and heavily depressive episode and deep into depression.
Mm-hmm.
So now that you're in a better place with lesser reasons because those triggers that were there and circumstantial situations and perhaps seasonal moments that were causing the depression to be as severe as it was are removed, doesn't necessarily mean that the depression itself is gone. Just the specific things that activated your depression are gone. And what I mean by depression evolves and adapts as we grow, it the triggers can change. And
Yeah.
they can also stay the same, but they present themselves in different ways when you least expect it.
Hmm.
So if there's something that you went through that's no longer the situation, you may see something on TV that throws you right back into that headspace.
Yeah.
You might hear somebody say something that triggers that part of your brain. All of these things are just, it becomes a part of who you are. It's not your identity,
Mm.
but it helps. It literally changed the way that you think going forward.
I'm just thinking like, is that specifically depression? Because you gave the example of trauma, which isn't necessarily depression.
Yes, absolutely.
And in my mind, I was thinking like postpartum depression, and I would say that does go away. And
See, but that's the thing though. They say that, but does it ever truly go away? Because now your depression is you're always going to be postpartum. Just postpartum is every phase after
after birth,
childbirth,
yeah,
and these children can cause a whole array of emotions that you could never expect. And that's the thing. People just, they classify depression as a disorder, a mental disorder, and just, it's an emotion.
I know, but it's like, you know, like, I guess you don't know because you don't know what I'm thinking, and I can barely figure out what I'm thinking. Like, there's times where I wasn't told I had postpartum depression, or I don't know whether I did or not. And it's just so like common that they're just like, here's some pills, because they just expect that, like, no, yeah, you just had a baby. That's probably what it is. There's no diagnosis, there's no survey
Because
or
there's no
like
humanity
anything.
left anywhere.
But the point I was trying to make is like, I remember how I felt to be given these pills, but I never once took a pill. And I'm like, I just gave it time, and I didn't continue to feel that way. And then there's like, your hormones, they change, and then they do regulate, so like that would be the disappearing, like the fact that it never disappears, but it does disappear because things get back to normal.
It's as simple as a shift in mindset. That's what it is. It doesn't disappear. You've just shifted your mindset to choose to not think about what was causing you to feel depression to begin with. Because now that you're not thinking about it in the way that you were, it's no longer a depressive thought for you. But if you still have a certain framework in your mind and the way that you choose to think about things and view them and have that certain mindset, it is going to be a thought that can depress you. It is going to be something that can push you into depression as you think about this thing in the way that you're thinking about it. Which is why so many people often try and tell you, just look on the bright side. Sure, like that can help, but also it's like you're not getting to the root of the issue, which is often the problem, figuring out the root. But what do you do when the root is something that's intangible? You can't literally fix whatever is causing the thought because it's something that isn't physical. It's something that exists in your reality, mentally, circumstantially, that has not changed in a great enough way to change how you feel about it. And it's something that, everybody says, you can change anything, if you put your mind to it, and all of these other ridiculous platitudes that people like to throw out to try and make themselves feel better about your emotions that they don't know how to deal with or don't want to deal with. They throw out all of these little phrases and nonsense that don't help anything. And it's something that you yourself
it should be like
are trying to contend with. You're trying to cope with whatever this thing is, but you don't know how. Or it's something that, regardless of how you try and cope with it, it doesn't change the reality of it. Like, you can't, the world is what it is right now. Can't change that.
Like the same way you have like math, science, it should be like emotions, should be a class.
The things that are actually necessary in life,
Right.
the important things that should be taught in schools. How to live life peacefully and thrive as a healthy, fully functioning individual of society. But that makes too much sense. So learn some calculus. Because you're going to need that. Got to know what the ancient Sumerians did. Because that's helpful. That's going to pay your rent for sure. Absolutely.
Right. Oh man.
Like it's the world and the way in which it works and is set up to work with the societies that exist. It's just it's just wild,
It is.
It's absolutely wild.
I thought a lot about just suicide. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that.
Trigger warning will be at the beginning of this video now, apparently.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. Like,
the world being
you
what it is,
can't.
man.
You
I know.
just, I
You
don't
feel
know.
like you can't say anything because there are many sensitivities in which, is for me, I do understand that. The that's where the empathy comes in. You do want to, be sensitive to people's sensitivities. But again, it's like, where's the line? You start there, where does it end? What's too sensitive and what's not sensitive enough? And now you're being insensitive. It just varies from person to person. So that you have to remove the idea of a specific audience because you can't please everybody.
Right.
The people pleasing will never get you anywhere. So just do what you feel is right for you. It makes you feel like you've done the best thing possible to be the person you want to be.
Right. I guess, like, I don't know. I don't know what my question is, but you made the statement that you are sick of life, something like that.
Yeah,
tired
of
life.
I'm tired.
I think that's
tired.
what it was.
Yeah.
You said you were tired of life.
Yeah, exhausted. And I would clarify that there's a difference between wanting to not be alive and just being tired of life. I'm not tired of living.
But that is the question I couldn't figure out. Like, it's like, what? Because there's just so many times where it's like, back to the seeming is not being, and people seem okay.
Yeah.
But they're not okay.
It is good to ask. It is good to ask.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know, but you're wondering.
But then that person has to also be honest.
They do.
Can't just be like, oh, I'm fine.
But again, you have to remove any other individual out of the equation. Now, instead of saying, oh my God, I didn't know. I wondered, but I didn't ask. You don't have that to say if the worst case scenario occurs. You can now say, I wish they would have let me help them, rather than I wish I would have done more to actually try to help them.
Yeah.
Because you did.
Right.
But there's only so much you could do for another person. They have to be able to do something for themselves and want to.
Right.
So
that part.
You just have to do what you can, man. Just have to do what you can.
Yeah, like be a parent in this moment, apparently.
Absolutely.
Our baby's crying. So, and that's a blessing to get to be a parent.
Yeah, it's a blessing to have a baby that has the ability to cry. Her lungs are working.
Yeah.
She's a healthy baby.
Yeah.
Who is awake and alive and breathing right now.
And also just stopped. So
yeah.
Sometimes you can let them self-regulate.
Self-regulate, self-soothe, man.
Um.
Humans have the capacity for great things. For sure.
Yeah. I hope that you're not depressed or that you are okay. And if you are depressed, if you are not okay, it's okay to not be okay. But I do hope that you will get help. And same way we put trigger warning at the beginning, put the help hotlines at the end and in the beginning. And you need somebody to talk to. We have inboxes, DMs as they say. Direct messages, if you didn't know, that's what that stands for. Or direct messaging. I don't even know anymore. But never here nor there. If you need somebody to talk to, well, we're here. And clearly, not professionals, not therapists, none of that, but a listening ear with hopefully some type of wisdom, or just don't have to say a word. You just want a listening ear. We can do that. But if it's really bad, get professional help. because, because that might be needed. Yeah, do both. Have somebody listen and get actual help. I shouldn't even say actual help because listening is actual help, but you get it. I could just go on and on and on with this circle.
Okay.
You get it.
Right. All right. So, if you are someone who is experiencing depression, it's good for you to take time to actually understand why that is. Figure out what's causing the depression, or if it's just you're having a depressive thought, not experiencing actual depression. If you're not chronically depressed, and if it's just a moment of depression or a season of depression, if you're just depressed today, it's not saying you'll be feeling depression tomorrow. Just figure yourself out. Do your best to do that and figure out what is your definition of depression. And when you do that, it can be very helpful in figuring out what your next steps are. If it is, figure out the level to which your depression is. How severe or not severe is it? And even with that, I don't necessarily like that term because the world feels the need to compare. Don't compare your depression to someone else's. You don't need to be comparative with yourself. You don't have to diminish what you're going through because it doesn't seem as severe as what someone else may be going through.
That's good, yeah.
You're allowed to have your feelings, feel what you feel, but try your best not to allow those feelings to overwhelm you and overtake who you actually are. Hold on to your personality and do your best to navigate your emotions and feelings and find your peace. Be your own peace. Don't lean too heavily on another person to bring you the peace that you need. Try and figure out how you can bring yourself out of depression for yourself and find the desire to want to do that for yourself. Because that's often a pitfall that you can fall into. Leaning too heavily on external influences for your own emotional regulation. Especially if you're in a relationship. You shouldn't put all of the pressure of your emotional regulation on your partner. Learn how to function best as an individual.
Very good.
Yeah, man. So,
yeah. Just like what I said.
Help yourself. Help yourself first. And if you feel like you're unable to help yourself sufficiently, then you can seek help from external places, be that someone in your community, someone in your family, someone in your inner circle, a friend, a stranger, us, a healthcare professional, what so have you. If it be you need to meditate or pray, do what you feel like you need to do to be your best self and bring yourself peace and make sure it's something that doesn't infringe on others' ability to be at peace. Always try your best to be your own peace, put peace forth into the world and be someone else's peace. Learn yourself. It's often quite helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So as always, everybody, keep it intentional and support love. Stay well and prosper, everybody. Peace.
Thanks for making it to the end.
And much appreciation for all your support.
If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, share, comment, all the things.
Across all platforms. And as always, everybody, keep it intentional and support love. Stay well and prosper, everybody. Peace.